Am I a tea person or a coffee person? Well, I'm both, but I also actually truly love coffee and different kinds of it. Would you like to see what all coffees I have and what all kind of equipments I use to make different kinds of coffee? Come, follow along. I'm not drinking coffee, I'm just having warm water. But today, I'm going to tell you about different types of coffee. A lot of you have been asking me about coffee, whether it is good for your health or not, whether it truly can help you to get rid of fatty liver, whether it's gut friendly or not. You are also seeing a lot of different videos about coffee, and I am going to tell you about all of that. But first, we need to understand what are the different types of coffee. What is the difference between an instant coffee like this, and what is the difference between, say, an espresso or something that you are making in a mocha pot and so forth. And how the coffee is made or what type of coffee you are using is going to impact what the health outcomes or the benefits you are going to get from it or not. Alright. So let's begin first with, let me have a sip of this. Okay, so this is the instant coffee. This is the most common type of coffee that we consume here in India. You get different brands. You have this one, you have Nescafe, which is very common. You also have David All, which is more expensive, but end of the day, it's all instant coffee. Okay, none of this is sponsored by any of the brands here. But what you do need to know is that instant coffee is one of the most processed coffees out there. That doesn't necessarily make it a bad thing, but what happens during the processing is that we end up losing a whole lot of gut friendly fiber that coffee comes with. Yes, coffee also has a good amount of fiber, which you can legit count as one of the things that are contributing to the dietary fiber through your day. Okay, so instant coffee is easy to make. It's just all that you have to do is take some coffee in a cup and just pour some hot water on top and mix it. If you want to add some sugar to it, then you're going to add sugar. You want to add milk to it, you are going to add milk. But whenever people are speaking about the benefits of black coffee, instant coffee is not the one that is going to give you any of those benefits. So if you are a gym bro, or if you are someone who wants to start taking black coffee to get any health benefits from it, and you decide to go for instant coffee because I don't have any of the other stuff, then I wouldn't recommend it. Okay, because otherwise what all that is going to do is it's simply going to just add extra caffeine to your system, which again is not necessarily a bad thing, but can impact your sleep and everything if you are taking it after 4 p.m. So yes, instant coffee does not have a whole lot of caffeine, which is what works in its favor if you ask me. But if I am taking it to get any of the ergogenic benefits, what is ergogenic benefits? Which is going to improve my metabolism a slight bit, it gives it a little nudge. So if I want that benefit, or if I want the gut friendly benefits of coffee, then this is not the way to. What can you do then? There are other forms, which is the easiest form is the pour over coffee. Okay, now the pour over, this is what I have. I just wanted to show this to you, by the way. This is a fin filter which I picked up in Vietnam, and Vietnam has a fantastic coffee drinking culture, and you find everywhere, you know, the way we have chai tapris here in India, you have tons of coffee little houses out there, and this is what they will serve you coffee in a fin filter. It's essentially pretty much like a pour over coffee. Now what is a pour over? You also have this kind of, like the Blue Tokai one is also very good, which you can, you know, use. Now what happens in a pour over coffee, or how is it made? It is made using any regular ground coffee. By ground coffee I mean that is powdered. Okay, now the how much it is ground, or how fine the powder is, or how coarse it is, it depends on the kind of equipment that you are going to use. For example, when you are using something like an espresso machine like this, the kind of say the grinding that it needs is going to be different. So most good coffees, they will have mentioned on the say the packaging whether you should be using this for an espresso, or whether it's good for a mocha pot like this, or it's good for a pour over. If you are buying a pack like this, which is a pour over by itself, then the coffee inside it is going to anyway be suitable for a pour over or a fin filter like this. Another very easy shortcut that I learned from a chef very recently is where he just took say some coffee in a sieve, the chai ki channi that we have, put coffee in it, poured some water on top and then just covered it for some time, and then you got a pour over. So pour over coffee is literally just ground coffee, not instant. Okay, coffee beans which have been roasted, then they have been made into a powder. The roast also depends on whether it's a dark roast or a mild roast or a light roast or a medium roast. You have different kinds. I am truly, although I do like a whole lot of coffee, I don't consider myself an expert in this by any means, so I'm just going to pass on this information to you from whatever I have learned. Okay, but there are better say resources available for this in terms of the coffee brewing and everything. So also, if there's anyone who's a huge coffee nerd, then please forgive me if I'm making some mistakes. But coming back to the pour over. A pour over is like the name suggests, you are going to pour some water over some ground coffee. The coffee that you could be using could be something like this. This is a filter coffee. What we know in India as filter coffee is essentially the ground coffee. So all the people from south of India who could be using a filter like this, this is also a kind of a pour over where you are going to put coffee in this press, and then you're just going to put this on top out here, and then it trickles down. Okay, this is where the coffee decoction is collected. The fin filter is also similar, where you are going to, here's a sieve, you put this on top of a cup, you put coffee in this here, and then you put a similar kind of a contraption on top, just a lid, and then you cover it so that none of the beautiful aromas that you have in coffee are going to escape out into the wild or in the air, and you get all of it in your cup of coffee. Now the pour over, be it this one or be it a fin filter or whether you're using this, is also a good option for coffee. The amount of caffeine that it contains is going to vary a whole lot. It depends on how much coffee you're putting in, what is the type of the coffee. For example, a Robusta variant of the coffee bean is much more potent, is going to wake you up. That's what the Vietnamese coffee is. A lot of time people will also find that when they have coffee in Thailand or if they have a coffee in say Vietnam, it immediately makes them want to go number 2. That's because that strong coffee gives that kind of a reaction, or your gut then just tells you that dude, you need to go. Okay, the other kind which is very commonly used in India is the Arabica. In India, most of us, we drink the Arabica coffee. It may be mixed with chicory beans as well. So the South Indian filter coffee that we buy, it always is mixed with coffee beans plus chicory. The percentages vary depending on what kind of coffee you are buying and what kind of taste profile you prefer. Okay, there are some people who would not like chicory in their coffee, and then they just grind pure coffee beans as well, which is also fine. It just the amount of chicory that is being added to it is going to impact the caffeine content of it. Okay, what it thankfully does not impact a whole lot is the gut benefit that you get from drinking black coffee. Now I keep on saying black coffee, but some of you might be like, Amita, I don't like black coffee. What if I want to drink coffee with milk? Is it still going to be beneficial for me? Yes, it is, provided you are not making it from instant coffee and provided you are not adding tons of sugar to it, because we are drinking black coffee, or we are looking at coffee as a healthier beverage or a health beverage which is like widely studied and researched, and those benefits we can get only if we are drinking black coffee which does not have other additives to it like sugar, which is not gut friendly, or even milk, because some people could be lactose intolerant or may not be able to tolerate milk very well. Okay, so the best beverage, top of the line, good coffee to have is going to be a black coffee which is made using any of these filters, not the instant coffee. Okay, you might even have say a shot of espresso, or you might have a long black, or you might have an Americano where you take an espresso and then you're just going to dilute it with some water. Dilution does not change the percentage of the caffeine directly, because you will still have that single shot which could be diluted. You're still going to drink all of that, so the caffeine content remains similar, unless you're going to share, like you're going to have only half a cup of the coffee, and the fiber that you are going to get from that coffee is also going to remain intact. Okay, so that's also fine. Another way is this mocha pot. So this mocha pot is where you're going to put coffee in this. You will add water to it, and then you will put this on the gas stove. This is again very, very popular in countries like European countries and even in the US. That's where this is used, although now most of them they use drip machine, which could be a machine like this, but this is an espresso machine where you're just going to put a sieve or a filter. You're going to add coffee to it, and then you add water, and it just collects into the jar underneath. This is an espresso machine. If you see here, you will be putting the coffee in little cup kind of a thing which goes here, and then the coffee is going to collect in this. Okay, do you need to have this? Is this any way better or superior or healthier? No, you don't have to. The same say benefits can be derived from even a pour over or a mocha pot. You feel free to use any of these as well. So yeah, let's try one pour over right now, and after that I'm going to also tell you about the different types of coffee that you could explore. Okay, जैसी आपकी श्रद्धा हो उस हिसाब से आप कॉफी डाल सकते हैं. And then put this on top. Make sure that you are matching the little edges. And you have to put hot water, steaming hot water on this. That's how it goes. So I haven't put in too much coffee in this right now, and you have to cover this so that the aromas are all trapped in here. This I am making a Robusta because Vietnamese bin filter. I'm making a Vietnamese coffee. I love how soothing it is to just watch it. There was a time when I used to get time to be just watching the coffee brew and drip through like this. Not anymore. How much coffee can you have in a day? About 2 cups, 3 cups as well, if it's not going to give you any intolerances, or if some people tend to feel more anxious if they're having too much coffee. So keep an watch on that, keep an eye on that. 2 cups of coffee, whatever 2 cups you're having, you have it before 4 p.m. so that it does not impact your sleep. Okay, why do we say you should not have coffee after 4 p.m? Now the caffeine's half-life is around 12 hours. It means that if you have coffee at 4 p.m, then almost 50% of that coffee is going to still continue to be in your system way beyond 12 o'clock or midnight. So which is why we say that have your coffee before 4 p.m. so that at least by the time you go to sleep, because remember, coffee has caffeine which is going to wake you up. Okay, so by the time you go to sleep, it's still, most of it has sort of tapered down, and you don't have too much circulating caffeine in your system, and that is how you will not end up adversely impacting your sleep or add to your already existing insomnia, if you have any. Of course, if you have insomnia, trouble sleeping, coffee is not the way to go, how much ever gut friendly it might be. Okay, some people might also be using this as an ergogenic, which is to improve the metabolism or to help with their workouts. Some of my friends, they also have a black coffee right before their workout as a pre-workout. So you can also do that. You can add in a little bit of creatine also to this, but again, not too hot coffee. If you're adding creatine, which is a pre-workout, to your coffee, then you should be adding it to a cold brew. Which brings us to cold brew. Cold brew is something which is brewed in the fridge overnight. Okay, it takes the longest amount of time to brew, but has reasonably good strength in terms of caffeine as well as the gut friendly compounds that coffee contains. So that's also another option that you can have. The last time I made cold brew, successfully in terms of the time available was 2020. So if you are someone who does not have my kind of limitations in terms of time, feel free. You really don't have to do anything much with cold brew. It makes itself. You just have to put together the entire equipment and keep it in the fridge, so it's super easy to make as well. Okay, but you need to remember to make that. Yeah, so here we have our filter coffee is ready. Now some things I want you to remember is that if you are having a coffee which is super strong, a robusta like this one, or even arabica, and you are taking any kind of anti-anxiety medications, or you are taking any kind of sleep medications, you should not be combining it with coffee. Okay, so don't be like super daring, or don't take up a challenge that, you know, I'll have coffee and I'll show you how I can sleep. You know, maybe you will be able to do it today, but maybe not every time. There are some people who also say that, you know, मुझे तो coffee पी के नींद आती है. I drink coffee and I go to sleep. We have some people on our team who say that. Now those people usually are having instant coffee, which doesn't have too much of caffeine to begin with, and is actually a very weak kind of a coffee to have. And on top of that, they add tons of milk and sugar to it. So they're essentially having barely coffee flavored milk and not truly coffee. If you ask me and all the other people who love coffee, I'm sure they will agree with this opinion of mine. Controversial, even if it is, well, is the fact. Okay, so can you add sugar to coffee? Yes, you can. Is it recommended? Is it going to help you in any way? No, it isn't. But some people just don't like the flavor of black coffee. It's like too strong for them. So you can add sugar, or you can add a sweetener or something. If you're watching your calories and if you're watching your sugar intake, or if you've gone off sugar, then you can just add in a sweetener if you want to. Adding that is not changing the nutritive value of coffee in any way. Okay, so if you don't enjoy the bitter flavor like I do, or most other people who are having black coffee, then it's an acquired taste. It's like you know, liking any bitter flavor. You keep having it, and that's how you get used to it, or you start liking it. That is when you can understand the nuances in the flavor as well of coffee. So if you're someone who has tons of coffee, by tons I mean 4 cups is tons already. Okay, so if you're someone who is having anything more than 2 cups of coffee, make sure that you're also hydrated well. And if you're someone who is an anxious person, or even perimenopausal women, we see that our anxiety shoots up significantly. If you also have insomnia, then coffee is not the way to go for you. So beware of all of that as well. Now some of you might ask me that South Indian coffee, the one which is made in a filter like this, it might even they add jaggery to it or palm sugar to it. Is jaggery or adding palm sugar in any way healthier than adding sugar or adding a sweetener? Now sweetener of course is 0 calories, so that's a better option anyway, but in jaggery and sugar there isn't any difference. We have made another video on jaggery and sugar, and like, you know, you can watch that as well, linking that here. So what is the difference between jaggery and sugar is covered in that, if at all any, but out here I'm telling you there is no difference between jaggery and sugar. So whether you are adding jaggery or not, or whether you are adding sugar or not, the only difference is going to make to your coffee is going to be that of flavor. Okay, so now it's time for me to have my coffee. I've spoken a whole lot. I think I deserve a cup of coffee right now. Here you go. Forgot to tell you, don't forget to like, save, share, subscribe this video, and tell me in the comments, how do you make your coffee? Do you even like coffee? Did you like this video? What other video would you like me to make? I'm waiting for your comments. Okay, see you. Bye.